Hi everyone, it's Veronica Bartolini with my co-host and bestie, Chad Cooper. We are just
Hello.
going to talk about what's going on today, like a rant thing. We were supposed to be on a show with Jason called No, We Don't Have Cookies, but I never got a link to be on there. So Chad and I were supposed to be on, but it's okay. We got plenty to talk about, right, Chad?
Oh, absolutely. Things come up, I guess. So now it's just you and me, and that's pretty good. Yeah, we were gonna talk about it, what's kind of like what we were sensing with each other and everything, because it's been a while since we've been on here, and there's a reason for that. We were on a roll for a while, and then we had some not setbacks, but some challenges that we needed to um, go through, and that's why we're here. They say you're not here on this planet to get everything you desire. You're here to, learn or whatever. So um, I won't argue with that. So I've been going through it, and that's what I've been pointing out to Veronica. I'm like, because she's the one that's going through it the hardest right now, and but I had to point out to her and not try to look not like yeah, but I have a splinter, or something like that. I didn't want to go that route, but at the same time I wanted to let her know, like, damn, you're going through something, but we're all going through something, and there's something to that. Like Tom's going through it, I'm going through it, you're going through it. I talked to Rocco Fowler, and he's going through it, but he's always going through it. Okay. Um, and that's not his fault. Well, it is, but it isn't. But okay, I'm gonna shut up there. And for myself, it's interesting how these attacks happen, and we want to both talk about that later on as well. Um, because it's so orchestrated, and to me, it almost feels like there's an AI behind it, because everything feels like a switch that's been flipped, and there's no emotion behind it, or compassion, or consideration for our lives. It's just like learn your lessons. And
It gets pretty lonely.
yeah.
Battling for your life.
Because there's definitely those other people that don't. Oh, say that again.
Yeah, there's like a lag. No, it gets pretty like lonely when you're battling for your life.
Because it's an isolated, not necessarily, I've had people step in and show their love in areas, and it's like, you are loved, we're just not there. And so, and I do have people here that love me as well, and family, and I do have my pup, so, which is probably now technically a service dog.
Yes. Now, as far as you know that we're not alone, I saw this silly meme that
Mhm.
says we're not alone because we live so many lives and we have our altars or whatever you want to call it. I do,
Okay, now I want to take that person and I want to ring their. No, I'm sorry.
yeah, because I'm
Because
like,
we do, but I haven't. I'm an ego, for crying out loud. I got half ego and half of this thing that's lived forever, and I don't care about the mother damn lives. I'm caring about this one right
yes,
now. And I don't want it to be. I don't want to be 80 when it happens. Like, come on.
with I don't like to use the word cancer. I use marshmallows. But with all that's happened, um, I lost a lot of people that I thought were friends because I guess they get scared when somebody gets that. And I was very surprised at
Okay.
this stage that a lot of the people that did not expect to stay with me on the journey stayed with me.
Yeah.
So that I made some new friends along the way.
I made some discoveries, people that were already in my life, I think, and family members and stuff, because I've been raped. Raked right through my family in a biblical sense, I feel. It almost seems like the prodigal son or whatever. I don't know the story that well, but or at all. But I do sense that he went away and came back, and that was sort of my story. But I went through my mother, I went through my father, and now I'm going through my sister. So, and we all love each other very much. In another country, this wouldn't be um, anything abnormal. And to be honest, I feel like that's what we all want anyways, eventually. And I think the new talk is now, and this is off subject, but living together and then combining resources and getting a place that's really extremely nice versus everybody paying separately for individual, and friends actually joining in on this. And I'm choking actually. Let me mute it because I'm gonna have to. No, that did it. Yeah, I
You
think that
okay?
did it. But yeah. But even friends want to get in on it, not just family, So it's gonna be like unique because if we all actually can get along, and I'm talking about opposite ends of the spectrum here, but we all are learning to get over our differences and either sever or you know well, that's not getting over your differences, but but there are those people that you sever from, and then there are those people where you just like I don't want to say compromise, that seems like the wrong thing, but it's probably what's going on. Somebody's compromising, but
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up
that's
because I know you
maybe
saw
a
that.
higher road.
Yeah, you saw the video with Brian Sang, and there was a lot of things that
Yes.
I still don't agree with, especially with the timeline that two individuals have totally changed for their benefit, where before it was
Mm.
Veronica, you have to kill me at the tribunals because I'm Lucifer, or I'm what did he say? I'm Bindar.
Oh fuck.
I'm
Ben,
like, oh, you're
thank
not
you.
Bindar, you're not Lucifer,
No.
now they're changing the timeline to where they're protectors. And what this is the thing with SSP and other communities.
They're
There's always a narrative, but it depends what narrative is in your heart. I don't want to argue with them. They know that where I stand, but I'll talk to certain people, but not all of them because of what they
and
did.
and they will ebb and flow in and out of your life because people change and grow, and we're all programmed to not like each other, but yet we all, even though somebody might be a hot mess, it doesn't make them not legitimate. It just means that oh, that's unfortunate. This is who they are as a human, a total asshole. And oh yeah, that's a bad word. But I mean, like, somebody that's an entrepreneur and willing to compromise uh morals, that
Now,
sort of thing.
and along those lines, yes, we have all been traumatized. Yes, we have all been
Hmm.
used. Yes, we all have the trauma,
Hmm.
okay, to work through, but that is no excuse to be an asshole.
No, who is that lady that was on here
Imagine,
before?
huh?
It's the lag, sorry. The Lindsay, the lady that was on here before, MFA fighter,
Oh,
Canada,
Lindsay,
Washington.
yeah. Hi,
Yeah,
Lindsay.
she said that exact same thing. I
Oh,
do
wow.
remember that quite distinctly because I know it resonated with me. I'm like, you're right. Like I'm a Sigma, so I play things differently. I do by my intuition and usually what's morally right. And I think there's probably times you compromise on that in this world, but for the most part, you try to be a percentage. We're not saints,
Mhm.
but for the most part, we do things that are right and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
I like what she said, in the program, she says there's certain peoples that got through it playing games, and there's some of us that just knew how to get our butt across the line or whatever it was, and it's the same thing in this world in the 3D.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot.
We've all been traumatized, but some of us we all handle it differently,
We do. We handle it differently. And believe
Yeah.
me,
We don't
so,
become abusers, in other words,
oh God.
because that's what the other thing is. It's like a manipulator and a narcissist, or maybe even a clone. That's something to be discussed, right? That's something Rocco mentioned the other night.
Yeah.
Or switched out, not who they used to be, either a walk-in or a clone. Let's say something like that. But
Yes. I'm still trying to
yeah.
figure out what happened to me if I was a walk-in or what, because
Mhm.
I look back at my life and I cannot believe that that was me. And now I would never do the things that I did or never let people hurt me the way they did. But because of my innocence, unfortunately, I don't like labels,
Mhm.
but the the autism, the DID, the PTSD, chronic PTSD, the depression, the anxiety, the trauma, my the niceness, I'm nice to people, and people just there's some snakes out there that'll just take advantage, and that's the
Yes.
worst thing.
Mhm.
Like Rita Hayward. Rita Hayward, she came from España, from Spain, and her dad, DeCarlo, was married, and they were dancers. So as soon as Rita Hayworth was like, I think she was like maybe 6 or 7, she started dancing, or 4, I don't know how. She had the dark hair, she was a little bit chubby, and then once they came to Hollywood, um, later on we find out that her dad was doing incest on her. Um, he would just make her dance, dance, dance for the money because it's took advantage of her.
Yeah. I mean,
And
and that's the way a lot of parents are in that
a
industry, I
lot.
think, that we're going to discover.
Yes.
They sell their kids out.
Yeah. And then
I
finally,
think Puff Daddy is proof of that right now, right? Or P Daddy, whatever his name is.
P.
P
Diddy.
Diddy.
Yep. Yep. There was a lot of talk about him. And
Okay, so now what you were saying though, I
yeah.
do believe we come in innocent, and this is going to be not a cliche, but I think it's more of a archetype type of thing or something. And authenticity and things. Some of us come in, because we're going to play a part and do a role maybe. But I think some of us come in, but I don't think it's that we're walk-ins in that sense because there'd be an amnesia, but it does seem as if there's a blindfold over us that only allows us to see the truth and honesty and things that are right, in that sense. And that's why we shake our heads, because you do fall out of innocence to survive in this world. But then there's that song from Enigma, the return, or whatever, whoever sang it, the return to innocence. And so it seems like we're supposed to return to innocence. However, what does that look like? Because I'm not going to be the guy standing there saying, "Oh, please kill me," if you came here to kill me, because I have somewhere else to go that's greater than this. No, I'm grabbing my knife and I'm going to defend myself because that's my right, and so you have to play smart, but innocent isn't naive. And that's what we were coming into this world. That's where we came from. So now we have to learn a new way to be that, just so we can be honest and true to ourselves and our nature without compromising, and I think that comes with boundaries, and that comes with not letting them always have the first move, or have control of the conversation. The best way to break out of any narcissistic conversations, by the way, those are the ones, is to stay in your authenticity. Not your mama's a whore, not your daddy's a, whatever, but it's like, let's stick to the topic here. Oh, no, let's not shift. Let's bring it right back here where we were, and let's not globalize this. And are you mind reading? I mean, we have to be on top of our authenticity. We just can't take it for granted that we were born that way. We need to learn how it works. So it needed to be challenged. I'll shut up because I can keep going. I don't know where it's coming from.
Oh, go
Okay, all right. I'm just saying,
through it.
but basically, that was in a comment to what you said, and yeah, in Hollywood, I mean, with this lady Rita Hayward, those parents seem to be selling out to the other side, and you keep hearing this over and over. Even the Jacksons, I think they're a classic story of that. And maybe even Justin Bieber or whatever his name is, and then uh
With real quick before you get so
oh, I
you
know this guy because I don't like him. I've actually served him before, but I can't think of his name, and even better. Okay,
you mean
go
the
ahead.
on and off?
Well, I'll
Yeah.
have to think of it now. No, it's P Diddy's
Oh, he did
friend,
it. Mm.
his friend. It's the one right below him. He's gonna go down next, according to Sloan Bella. And I look for Jay-Z.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a dream 3 nights ago that, and I wrote it out and I posted on Instagram that one of the Kardashians with dark hair, I don't know if it's Kim or what, but
Mhm.
it was actually you and myself, but you were a little different. You were like bigger for some reason. Um, we were like at a train station outside, and I go inside to the airport, which is weird. Okay, train station, airport. I buy my ticket and I'm waiting for you, and then you come and then you purchase your ticket, and we both look at each other because we both hear that the plane that is going out, that the plane that just went out after this there was a plane crash, and we were supposed to be on the next plane. And it was one of the Kardashians and a male that plane crashed and they died. And then so we both look at each other like, I don't think we want to go on this airplane ride. So we went on the train. It was just weird. And
And you had this dream when?
like 3 days ago, I wrote it down.
Oh wow.
When right before, I didn't know Kobe had died, but that night I dreamt that I was in a tattoo parlor, but it was all red and the walls were red, the lights were red. I was in one of the chairs, like a trip chair, and they were working on me. And then on the wall, I saw the hearts that they were cut in half, and it had a 3, 1, 6, 5. And then later on, I hear that, so the daughter was a sacrifice. She's 13, and Kobe probably has a new body. Um,
This is
then
the basketball player.
yeah, Kobe Bryant. And then that's when the whole CV 1984, the jabs and all that crap. And I warned everybody. I saw this DNA black strand on top of the corona of your head. And there was like with some
Mm.
drone or TV was shooting at it. So that way the people would be scared and would have to think that they would, that this thing was real, and then they'd have to get the jabs. And that's why so many people died. And I just
Mm.
met a lady who her husband had COVID. He hadn't gotten the jabs. He got hit
Oh, I
with
didn't know what that was until I had to.
the
Sorry, I have
baby
to
Jabberwock.
play it
It's
in my head.
the COVID. 1984. We'll just call it 1984 Wonder Woman.
Oh.
Yeah, the movie. And he was paralyzed and she had to take him home. And the same thing that happened to me happened to him. His both glutes had to be taken out, but him, they had to shave the spine, the spine LS1. They had to shave. She so it's terrible what they're doing to people. And Sabrina
Oh wow.
Wallace talks about we're pretty
Yeah.
much MAC addresses. They use our blood, right? When
Yeah.
they do the baby
Yeah.
Jabberwock, the graphene oxide, there's been a lot of studies, and they can use you. They can put a drone over you or whatever. So me, I was attacked that way, with what I call I believe with my heart that it was when I was in the military that they gave me the anthrax shot with mixed with the shark quaalude. And I believe that they also gave me the Agent Orange because the doctor said it was the capital FISH that looked just like, he says it's Agent Orange. He said it's gray and it's gooey And he says, but you're too young to be in Vietnam. And I said, sir, you don't know, you don't know what they put in there. And then of course the other part would happen to me, like what I did to myself with, all that stuff. We've talked about this before, but what I'm trying to say is now going through everything that I've gone through, which I've talked about it already, now I'm still being targeted with what they call perimenopause. Like as soon, look, Chad, I am in bed like around 11 o'clock at night. I'm so tired, but I can't sleep. So I read, I do my word searches, I work on my books. Then when I finally say, hey, I think I'm ready to go to sleep now, 5 in the morning, boom, hot flashes, one after the other after the other. And I have to go to the bathroom all the time. It's like the freaking drone is waiting for me to go to bed up here. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm a remote control or something. And I did mention that to my nurse today because she came to help me with my wound. And she's like, and I told her, hey, I said, don't you feel, because I was planting the seed, I go, don't you feel like we're just like, they have a remote control on my digital twin? And she goes, "Ay, Veronica." She was putting on her glasses. Oh, Veronica. She doesn't believe that, but I sent her the video after. So I'm like, hello, think about it. And people will not believe that we can be
Yeah.
controlled. And I'm like,
Well,
I don't consent, but go ahead.
that goes into two things I want to mention, like that you brought up before, like with people, or that we were talking about being authentic and and all that kind of stuff. But not everybody's that way. Um, so what I've noticed is we're going through a hard time, but they're really not. There's other people that just seem to be thriving all around, and they are wicked as can be in the worst case scenario for that spot, for life to be the way we want it. It's just like there's that momentum right now. Um, and that's why we have to be careful, when but it's good that we look back, because it meant if you look back at yourself and you think that you're a walk-in or something, because how could you have done all those things? It means you've learned because now you're looking, but at the time, and so it means you've learned. And the second thing is how big was I? Was it like like a beer belly or like or taller in that dream?
You were taller, and then you had like, you were gordito. Hold on.
So there's a fluffy version of me out there. That's so funny. Zutai. Oh, I need to drink a
I'm
little bit of
eating
water.
almonds and
Oh,
I'm allergic to nuts, I guess, because
oh, that always chokes me up in my throat. Nuts. It's the stuff they spray on them, I think.
God dang, man. Yeah. I bought a wig and I was thinking of wearing it because my hair is,
Soak your nuts.
yeah. So maybe next show I'll wear it. We'll see.
What is it?
We'll see if I wear my wig the next show because my hair is so
Oh,
like picture a trash bag, a 13-gallon trash bag. Well, half of that was full with my hair. And that's another how they targeted me. People say it's stress. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe it was a
you're
morphine.
right. Yeah.
I was on morphine for 4.5, almost 5 months. And I said, no more. I stopped it cold turkey. It's gonna be, let's see.
But it's a hormone thing. But like Sabrina was saying, like there's services and there's agencies. She's a lot to digest. I mean, you take a bite of her and you got a mouthful. She sits there and says, I'm going to show you a little bit of something. And she holds up a whole chart of a whole diagram and diet. It's like, you have to sit there and take everything she says as a citizen. I'm not going to call us layman or anything, but as a citizen here, we have to and take each part and look at, okay, what is this department she just said? What is this? Because what she's saying is B2K is a thing from the 50s. That's why we're allowed to talk about it now. She goes, we're allowed to talk about those things, and they make it seem like it's controversial because they're already into the next thing, which is our aura, our biosphere. And by going through the biosphere, you can affect the tissues. And then through the tissues, you can affect chemicals and different things that start to go into the body, and they can actually control your thoughts through that, because they've done tests, where people go into an audience and then everybody gets a haircut afterwards or something, I don't know. So they've tested this out, but the thing is they're starting to gain these capacities. And so where I kind of struggle with it, though, to be honest, is like I used to do Kundalini, and that's all about building up your aura. And I remember when I had a session with the late psychic Bob, our friend, the late psychic Bob, Robert Hickman. He told me, he says, "Oh my gosh," he says, "you get aura of the year." He's like, "I'm 15 feet away and I'm already walking into it, And that's when I was waking up every morning and doing 3 hours of spiritual practice. I was working on my halo. I was working, on all sorts of. I was working on my shields and there we go, camera. Thank you. And doing my and stuff. But I found out that it was a pedophile that created that. So it was sort of taken from me. But now I'm wondering if there's something to that, because they, according to Kelly, somebody, I won't, um, I'm not losing my train of thought. It's just they're trust pulling it. What was that?
Kelly Coffee, the one that took down our 4 videos that we did live.
Yeah,
Kelly,
that's why I didn't say it, but then I lost my thought when I tried to snatch that out of my vocabulary. What was I saying? Do you recall? Because that's where I'm
so
sorry, heat
you were
stroke, all that.
talking about how, you were working on your aura and yoga, and then you found
Oh,
who invented it was a pedophile.
okay. So Kelly Coffey says, she says we're meant to not manipulate our light and our gold energy. That's a philosophy that she has, and that she sees a lot of people walking around from yoga with that look like ornate eggs, and she says
Wait,
that's maintenance. You got to keep that up.
you
But the
cut
yogis
off.
say once you do it enough, you maintain it. You don't have, or oh no, they don't see that, huh?
You were cut off, so I didn't hear anything in the beginning that she's.
Oh, I was saying that she said, maybe I need to talk slower. That's when I notice it kind of messes with the thing. And so what she said is that you shouldn't mess with your aura or your light or your gold energy, that you should just let it be organic, that the natural state is just a nice, calm, pale, golden yellow glow. But that if you work on it, you look like an ornate egg, but you have to keep that up and decorate it. It looks decorated and fancy. But I think that's what Psychic Bob saw. Because I mean, I'm telling you, I spent like, oh, you spend 10 or you get Kundalini arms.
Wow,
You feel like you've flown to the North Pole by the time you're done.
I don't agree with her because remember
Okay.
what Sabrina Wallace says, and that's what I've been doing.
That's what, yeah,
I
exactly. And I'm like,
I
well, this
go
is
and
maybe where
go,
our defense is.
and I build it up. I'm building it, and then I send it.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna send it to you for protection. Ready? And to me, and to my children, wherever they are, because if they dare to walk in and hurt my kids or me, my fucking aura is gonna kill them. You know what I mean? It's gonna attack them to, or shield. It's gonna shield my kids. It's gonna shield me. That and what I have been doing is not listening to the TV at night, turning off my Wi-Fi every night so that I can hear the pitches or I can hear the drones when they're coming. You can hear them if you're quiet. If
Because
you're
she's saying now they don't need satellites, they can do it through drones, because there's so
exactly.
many different compartmentalized um oper components to this
Yeah.
operation. It's through our phone and our cellular, it's through our Wi-Fi,
Through our
it's through our
DNA.
TV, it's through the hospitals. It's like there's a whole bigger thing that's like, and they're all working on one part of this, and it's all coming together towards this thing. Do they succeed? I don't know.
Even the
I'm sure
moment.
they got elements of it working. And I just, I
Like
don't know. I question who's orchestrating everything behind the scenes. Is it them,
well,
or is it?
DOD, Vanguard, you know,
Or all of the above.
Vanguard, you know, it's those two that own the CIA.
Okay. Because
So
I'm telling you, like, and I think they must send in people in 3D because that's the only way it can naturally work out,
oh
unless
yeah,
it's just
you
everything's
exactly.
programmed, unless they're background people, and they just show up where they're supposed to when needed.
It's like they have,
So
okay, this is a vision that I got before I went to bed last night or 2 nights ago. When we were kids, we have the TV in front of us. So what I saw in my vision, and I was not asleep, I was just thinking about this. There's a light on top. Then there's a screen here that you're looking at, and you're standing. So you're standing here, right? You're standing. There's a light on top. Then I saw a reflection here, and then it goes to the TV. Or it can go from the TV to you up here to read your freaking mind. Okay? Why? Okay. So in Scientology, they teach people to not.
that really bothers me too, the mind reading thing, because I'm like,
In Scientology, they.
now I have to really shut off my thoughts for real and not just say it, damn it. Like I can do it, but man, it's a muscle.
That's why I do.
And telepathy. Think about telepathy though. They can't read my telepathy, I don't think.
Well, this is what I'm trying to say. So
That's sacred, maybe.
you know what the reactive mind is, right? So you know when you react right away without thinking, that's the reactive mind.
I do that all the time, and I'm so sorry.
Me too. I'm sorry. So I'm still trying to control my reactive mind, but because we had so much trauma, that's the challenge that we have here in this lifetime, in this here and now. Now, what I tell people, and I learned it from Carrie Cassidy, is put snow in your front of your mind. The reactive mind is thinking of snow. That way nobody can read your mind. And if they do, oh, it's snow. It freezes everything.
That makes so much sense. Thank you. I just thought it was not hocus pocus, but I thought, okay, I'm going to do this thing where I think of snow and that magically blocks them. But that makes sense. It's keeping your reactive mind concentrated on something so that it's not thinking about the other.
Or a
Okay.
shoe sale or a bra sale.
Oh, that makes sense. I thought, well, I'll do it anyway. So I'll just imagine snow and that'll keep them. But okay. Yeah, or a shoe sale. You women.
Or jewelry sale.
Yeah.
Oh, my hair.
Yes.
I didn't have my hair again. Like when somebody's trying, my goodness, if I would have known what I know now, I would have not been manipulated so easily. Now I know.
Yes.
I have a family member.
I know. Yeah. But okay, think about this. Is it right then? Think if you could be de-aged and go back to 24. I know we'd all do it, right? But what if you had to keep what you have now? I mean, you can't go just be like, woo, throw me some beans. It's not like that when, because you have a different frame of mind. So it's almost like it's almost not right.
It's kind of like, okay, in sales, right? You say, would you like
You're good at sales, just by the way you said it. Look at this, Vanna White. Oh my gosh.
I've been called Vanna White and Michelle Pfeiffer.
You're a natural.
Would
Sell
you
it to me. Oh, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna do it on you. I'm gonna do it on you. Let's see if it works, okay? Chad, today, would you like a banana? Or would you like a green apple? Which one? Okay, I'm gonna shoot something at you. Ready? Choose one.
Apple.
Fuck yeah, you got it. You got it. All right. Let's do it again. Okay.
What? No.
Yes, I was telling you in my mind, I was shooting green apple because it's healthy. It's healthy for you. An apple a day keeps doctor away. Come on.
I know, and I kept saying I want to say the banana because that's what I want, but I
knew
feel
you
like it's
wanted
the
to say
apple.
And I'm like, oh, it's too easy. Chad's gonna say banana, so I'm gonna make
She
it.
held it next to her face, and I wanted. I'm like, but I know she wants me to say the apple.
Ah!
And I'm like, I'm second guessing myself. I'm second guessing myself.
All
All
right.
right, I was thinking of what I
Let me do
wanted.
another
You
one.
were
Let me
thinking,
do another
okay,
one. Let me
yeah.
see. Okay, hold on.
Oh
Ready?
boy, hold on.
Ready? Would you like a paella? I don't know how to say it. Paella?
Yes, I
Would
already
you
know. Yes,
would you like a paella?
Perrier. That's what I want. I
Or would
already.
you like
Hell
would you
no.
you sucked it up? Never mind.
Hold on. I do want the coconut. I do
I
want
knew
the
it. That's what I
coconut.
was trying to read to you. Coconut, coconut, coconut. Water.
I just naturally like Perrier, but I would get the coconut water.
So
So
anyway, my son finally got his DNA results back. And I told my family what we were. I saw it in dream form and I saw it also, doing my own investigations and it came back on point. And I made an appointment so I can do mine. It's called All of Us Research Program for Genetics. But what they do is they take out like 7 vials and then they keep your DNA for 10 years. And then they say, hey, go ahead and come back in another year or two, get some more blood taken out to see how your DNA has changed. It's a study. But I'm like, after learning what Sabrina Wallace is teaching us, forget about it. It's like you're giving them permission to pretty much take you out. And I don't want to do that. And of course, I can't explain that to my family because I did say something like my kids, they were here the other day, and I said I did say something like, well, I'm afraid if they're gonna use it against me. I mean, I know they already have my DNA from when I was a kid, because my mom would take me to the doctor all the time. I have molars that I was mentioning earlier that are full of the mercury, and now I have this ball here. It's like this size. They're gonna have to take it out again. 20 years ago, they took it out, and I grow extra calcium. So we're supposed. I come from the Nephilim line as well. So, uh, you know, what do you do? And I just wanted to remind everybody that we're all going through something, to be kind to one another. Today I went to a store. I'm not going to say what or who, but it was a cashier and she had, scars on her arms, on her legs, on her thighs and wrists. And I just wanted, and she was playing with her hair, and I just wanted to hug her and tell her, I have been where you are. And I wanted to tell her that she's not alone. I did tell her in my mind all that, but I did tell her, hey, you have really beautiful eyes. You're so pretty, I told her. And then she's like, oh, you're so pretty too. You have pretty makeup, whatever. But to me, a lot of us are hurting and we've been through hell and back and food is so fucking expensive, man. Like, I don't even know. But see, let me tell you something, Chad, and the public. I did in my mind prepare my mind when it was 2020, 2019 and all that. I do have emergency food, but that's for emergency food. Okay. Like 2 buckets full. But why, like, because the US, DOD, Vanguard, throughout the whole world thing that with their black projects, there really is no need to hike up the food or the gas, but because they want to fund their shit. And then I just posted something yesterday on Instagram about this lady talking about that Microsoft has just done a contract with Coca-Cola. And I told people back in 2019, I go, Coca-Cola has black goo, baby. Nanites. Why Microsoft? I keep saying G Mafia. Google, Microsoft, Facebook, IBM, we're supposedly we're tied with the, silver cord to IBM and the satellites underground. And that we are pretty much an IP address, that they can
Lights
destroy.
underground.
Yeah, the IBM computers, supercomputers underground with the silver cord.
Interesting.
Um, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and link the video that I sent you yesterday. It's a different
So
we talked about the other
yeah.
day.
So
Thanks.
in regards to what you were just saying, I mean, the emergency food is a great idea, but I've heard people that go camping a lot with that type of food, and they're just like, After a while, your stomach, yeah, exactly. You know, it's like something about rehydrating your food and eating it. It doesn't, and I noticed that I do a lot of reserve sometimes, and then I'm like, well, the last thing you really want to eat is a can of beans, you know, or especially like refried beans or something. You don't want anything that's going to go in looking the same when it comes out, you know, like, or you know, you don't feel like eating potatoes, you know, and then it's like, but I noticed like pineapple is really yummy, you know, and like citrus, you just kind of crave those things and the sugar and stuff like that, you know. I even thought, oh, let me put a bunch of honey in there, but you know, what do? Go drink honey? You know, it's like in that sense. And then with the DNA thing too, you know, and holding it for 10 years, yes, it could be an attack against you, right? Or it could be attack, it could be doing the testing, and it could be attack against your child, you know, because they'll be the ones that get that the front of that, or you know, or their child or your child's child, you know, something like that. Or they could be collecting our DNA for a reset, you know, that they're trying to plan of some sort.
Kind of like iRobot.
Yeah. And then in the sense too, you said corporate greed, and I wonder if that's a guise, because yes, corporations are greedy, but are they greedy because they're greedy, or are they greedy because they got an agenda? And you know, it's like people are so the left is so focused on, you know, hating corporate greed, but you know, why not hate the projects they're incorporating, and or you know, secretly doing, but then that's conspiracy. So you know, they're the, you know, that sort of thing. And then with the coke and the black goo and stuff, like, you wanted me to talk a little bit about what I went through, and then we can go to Sabrina if you would like, you know, because that's where you're getting ready to head to, I believe. But like, you know, I'm on medication now, and I've never been a person that I thought would ever go onto a medication. But I went through a situation at work where I was discriminated against, and discrimination is defined by biasness. And so I was, what I thought was just being hazed or stretched to get into a position, but they were trying to push me out. And eventually I didn't break, but I stepped aside right before I snapped. And, you know, I almost drove off the road having anxiety attacks and wasn't sleeping. You know, there's all of that. So I had to check myself into a mental institute. And just to progress the expedite the getting to a psychiatrist, just to expedite getting to a therapist, because it's now 6 months to 4 months, 6 months to get any of those things, or a primary doctor. You know, I needed help right then and there. And this is going to tie into where we're going with Sabrina and everything, but with the meds, sometimes you have to do the necessary evil, I think, in order to get through in this world. And my theory on that is when you're having inorganic thoughts or actions, that's when you probably need to go on a medication. And the reason you need to go on the medication is because it's the only solution we've been given, not because it's the only solution there is out there. And the reason I say this is, you know, they say that medication is weaponized, and that it's got particles in it, maybe, or something like that, you know. So I plan to be on this temporarily just to get me through this, you know, and I have to take them to court and do things like that. So I need to be in my best mental health. And honestly, it did get me back to where I needed to be, you know, reset me, I guess, or whatever. And eventually I'll be able to let go of it. But to let go of it, I feel like I need to go to an earth home. I feel like I need to be away from electricity. You know, in this sense, I feel like, you know, they say the first signs of anxiety came out when operators were, you know, the people that were working around electricity, basically, is when electricity came out, was when the first anxiety, they didn't know what to call it. You know, they called it crazy lady disease, or, you know, whatever. But so, you know, now when I sense the medication in me and what it's helping with the anxiety, I do get the feeling that psilocybin microdosing on magic mushroom, on something like that to microdose, it would affect the same part of my brain, but without the chemicals and without the burning and the side effects and everything you have to unfortunately go through if you do a medication. And that's why my face is red, because I was out in the sun and it won't tan, it just burns. And I'm trying to disguise that right now. So I don't have the alternative. I don't have the microdosing. It hasn't been made available. I don't have the sound therapy, and I don't have the room, and I don't get the vacation away from a stressful, we don't get that, like, oh, you're wounded, we need to heal you. It's like, we need to patch you up and get you back to work. So you're making the corporations or the agendas, happen. And so this attack, I feel, is coordinated with the community, because everybody seems to be going through something that's very personalized and individual. Not the ones that I'm saying are succeeding and excelling, and the corrupt ones. They seem to, like I said in a poem one time, the devils dance and the angels scream, in a world that was once its own. And that seems to be the case right now, where the devils are dancing and the angels are screaming. So with the medication and everything, it's temporary. I'm pretty healthy. I'm going to work on my chi and my energy and all that kind of stuff, where the aura, what they're trying to control, we need to regain control of that, I suppose. That seems to be, the consensus now, according to the information we're listening to. And this lady that we're about to talk about, she, like I said before, good luck taking a bite full. That's, because you have to sit down and take a screenshot. Then on each screenshot, there's going to be about 10 things to investigate. And then once you get, the lingo, and you start to get the understanding what she's talking about in her world, which is what the secret, not space program, I guess, or something her family was involved with. And then, other things like that. She's one of those families. So, because I do feel like I'm influenced, mechanically or through AI, or just something that's going on a higher level, that's causing the chaos in my life, because it's very easy to cause discord in your emotions through this technology, according to, hypothetically, it is, so, and I agree that it sounds right. So that's it. I just wanted to speak on what I was going through as well, because Veronica insisted that I do that, even though what she's going through is, it just feels like, here's my splinter. So yeah, that's what I basically wanted to say. And I wanted to remind you, oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. And you spoke about that with your son, with the genetics and everything like that. And I think we were doing that when you first came on. And I think what you were saying was that, like, you always had the premonition, you always had, you've always said that you were a certain, I can't say it because I'm not familiar with the terminology, but I heard what you said, Jewish something, and it goes, yeah. And so it's nice to get that confirmation that you were right,
Yeah.
even though you were told something different.
Yeah,
We can't intuit into our bodies.
Yeah, I kept telling my family, because I just knew we were Ashkenazi Jewish. And
Oh, I
they
see what you're saying.
believe
Yeah,
me.
okay.
They wouldn't
That-
believe me. And I keep
no.
telling them, look at your palm, it's M, Merovingian bloodline, the Mary Magdalene, the Yeshua together. That's why both sides of my family changed their last names before it got to my great grandfather. And that's why they they went from Corsica to France to Mexico.
Is this in your family tree? Have you done that? Is that why you're saying that they changed their names?
Right. I did my family tree in my head, and I know, like, if my kids were to ask me who's this, who's that, I'll tell them. But I always wanted my DNA because I wanted to prove it to myself. You know, there's German, Fisher is the last name on both sides. There's German. Both sides we have French, which is Mosot. Gandara, we have on both sides, Villarino Gomez was Spaniard, and the Gomez is on the lineage of my mother's side is an Ashkenazi Jew. And then she also has a great grandmother, well, a great grandmother who's from Dominican Republic. And so I was always wondering, why is there so much hate? Like, because when I dye my hair dark, which I'm about to, you're gonna see that from here down, it'll be like if I'm, you know, from Dominican Republic. You can see. And it's also Morocco. We have Middle Eastern. You know, it showed up that he was 4%, and I'm like, I know I must be a little more, you know, but it's just I'm having a hard time because I really wanted to prove it to myself that my visions, my dreams, and all of my work that I've done to tell my family this is what we are now is being, it's fucked up, excuse me, but it is, because I don't want to do it because I don't want to be taken out. Like they try to take me out in so many ways just recently. And no, your thing is not just a splinter, Chad, because I know how it is to be anxious, lonely, tired, depressed, frustrated.
So yeah, it was an underlying depression, absolutely.
Yeah, all the time. And you turn off everything at night and you're just thinking there like, what the hell am I doing here? What are we doing here? Like, we got to keep going. I know we have to help each other out. I know there's a purpose, and we're doing it right now, helping each other and people. And it's like it's called AI wars. I've got so many trolls, especially that, you know, I'm not gonna say who, but they hide behind these alien faces, and then they tell you all kinds of stuff. You're bad, this, you're a narcissist, who do you think you are, talking bad about this person. It's like they don't know what the fuck I went through. They don't know what I went through, and I don't have to prove it anymore. But what I'm saying is AI wars. AI will make humans do things that they think it's the Holy Spirit. It ain't no Holy Spirit. It's fucking
Yeah.
AI.
You're so tactful though. You never even mentioned this.
So it's not just a splinter
Well,
that.
so it is AI wars, okay, but
Yeah.
I also feel like, okay, if we're looking at the 5D chess game,
Yeah.
and we're looking at the way things really are for us, we don't know our history. It was a lie. There was a reset. What happened in Ostrovich? Is that what you're saying? The Jewish, and that's what you're saying you have. But what happened there was part of the reset, I believe. Didn't you say Ostrovich Jewish?
It's Ashkenazi Jewish. Ashkenazi.
Oh, I see then. Okay, then I will familiarize myself there then. But you know, maybe part of the reset. But then at the 5D level, it's like there are elementals, right? Minerals and trees and spiritual. Okay, so then there's us, the physical, right? Then there's the other dimensionals, like the secret space program, let's say. I don't know if it's astral or where they reside, but it's not quite where we are. And then there's the angelic, and it just keeps getting larger and larger, but they're all controlling this game at different levels. So it's hard for me to just say it's, you know, because my thing is I'm cussing the man out at the top, because why did you allow that to happen to me? You know, and that's kind of where I get so because you allowed them to do this, you're the one that did it to me. You know, that's kind of where I get sometimes with that, but you got to be careful with that. You know, that's just the ego that I am, you know, expressing itself. And so this chess game is really being played on many levels, and it's like, okay, the government has certain technology, I believe the second, that's 3D. You know, I believe the space program has certain technology, and then we're dealing with demons because let's say mental illness, you know, like what I was talking about, I had a reason for it. I had you know, induced anxiety attacks, and I had to step away from all of that. Now you can say, okay, it was your job. Well, someone else may say, I'm under demonic attack. Someone else might say, I'm being manipulated by the government and the space program, you know, or my alters are influencing me. And it's all true. So we got to deal with that. You know, that's kind of like the way the 5D chess game looks. It's not just like, I'm Chad and I'm talking on this video and that's who I am. You know, there's more to me, you know, and to everything around us. So even the medications, like, yes, it is a demonic attack, but they're able to fix it in the 3D, so they're not able to hit me directly in my thoughts. They're still all around me, but and they're poking in, you know. But for the most part, I'm the one with the grip now.
I went through that too, Chad. They had me on 6 psych meds, heart med, lung med. They had me on CPAP. I gained so much weight because I was so freaking depressed. It was 284 pounds. I didn't work out for 9 years. I had 3 bladder surgeries. I had 24 surgeries. Right now, this is going to be my 29th, the next one.
Wow.
And that's what a fucking super soldier is. If you want to talk about super soldier, it ain't no fighting in space only, baby. It's fighting here for your life.
Yeah, and I wanted to comment on something you said earlier.
Go ahead.
When you were talking about I don't want to say F face because I'd be cussing, but
Sometimes it's just
Pindar or whatever. Okay, so we'll just go there. Shit, I forgot what I was gonna say now.
Yeah, their agenda, how they're twisting it, and people will believe it because he's a seer. Well, I'm a seer too, baby. And I ain't gonna lie to you. If I have a vision or if I have, you know, a dream, I'm gonna write
Oh, it was with what you were just saying.
Huh?
That's what sunstroke does to you. It's like you have to, it's like I had to think of something else to make my point, and now I can't make my point. It's something with what you were saying though, and
You'll remember. That's what I'm trying to say.
next time. Before because
Okay,
I can't go in the sun with the meds too, and I've always been sensitive to it, so now it's a struggle even more and stuff.
you'll
And
remember.
no sleep meds and stuff like that. So I did wake up with the anxiety again though, and it was going over and over and over in my mind. Shoot, what was I gonna say about these people? Oh my god, what were you just saying?
Leave Chad's channel clear.
Yeah.
Please,
Oh
Chad.
yeah, we can blame them, but like I said, they probably affecting it and stuff like that. But I did the same thing on Rocco's video last night, and I'm like, man, I've done this before in other conversations, and I'm like, it's the heat or the sun or something until I acclimate to it. Oh, I was going back to something you said, and it was in regards to him. I'll think of it again, but we'll move on because it's got to come back to me, and I can't do it by.
It will.
Yeah, I will because I had I maybe even written it down because I'm like I wanted to go back to them. I could going back. Oh,
Recording now. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was going back to what you were saying, because you were saying, you know, like he was saying, like, oh, I'm Pindar. Oh no, wait a minute. Now I'm not Pindar. I'm this over here. And no, wait a minute. I'm this. And I think the other J Rink person, James Rink, is doing the same thing. You know, like, oh, I'm this, and I'm part of this, and I'm part of that. Well, no, you're not, and yes, you are, because you're all of them, and you're also none of them. You know, so we have to kind of like think of it in those terms, like.
Well, the person that he kept saying, I'm talking about, okay, we talked about James, but Joseph Powell is the one that he kept telling me when I was with him in Kingman and in California that he was Kingman, that he was Pindar and that he was Lucifer, and that when the tribunals came, it was up to me to, you know, end his life because or because he had to pay, and now he's changing the story to where him and the other guy with the long hair, I keep forgetting his name, are now security for when the wars are over, and they're gonna be our.
Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Okay, so in the same sense that, like, say when we were talking about our lifetimes, and I said, okay, I am not my lifetime. Well, yes, I am. I mean, because there is the collective you that comes in and gets amnesia. The ego is what that part of you, that collective you that comes in with certain things that are consistent, that define who you are. And I will use the twin analogy. Like, you can have two different souls come in. So your nature, which is your collective, who you are, is influenced by nurture, how you're treated by society and stuff like that. And so two people in the same body, or two different bodies that are the same, but their collective personality of all their lifetimes, everything that they are, is going to guide them, and they can go through the same lessons and come out totally different people, because that's influence. So the same thing with the alters. I mean, they split your consciousness apart, and they're all living their lifetimes, but they might as well be your past lifetimes. You know what I mean? We're connected to them. We remember them. We're being influenced by them. We influence them, and we're growing together. And our lessons and our that was a mosquito, are all synchronized. So when I'm going through turmoil, they're going through turmoil and stuff like that. Even though I accuse them all being at some party, and oh my gosh, so for them to be saying, I'm Pindar, I'm Lucifer, I'm this, I'm that. I mean, who fucking cares? You know what I mean? I mean, well, that's telling me a little bit about who your nature that's being, it doesn't matter how much holy water's thrown on you, buddy. You know what I mean?
And then they write books. They'll go they'll go
Yeah.
to our conventions. Like when I went in March 19th through the 21st of 2021. And then they'll take your stories, write about them, and make money. And why do you think
Yeah.
Jay Campbell's always there? So he can have his book signed, or the other tall guy that's there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but because I don't know, it's
Even
just
your alters, I mean, they all have their own lives, or the ones that are in bodies, right? I mean, they have their own ego, they have their own life, they all came in with the same amnesia. You're all part of that. And they got the same nurture, or the same nature behind them in their lessons. So that's there, from the collective lifetimes, but they're all living their individual lifetime right now. And I wish they would stop shitting on mine. That's all I got to say while they're up there in their ships with their damn luxuries. Okay, there we go. But we came down here to have an earthly experience. So
a nice one.
oh
But
no,
what did we get?
I know the saying now. We didn't come down here to see how much we can get. We came down here to see how much we can take. That's what they said before. I messed it up earlier.
Oh man.
Isn't that true for some of us?
But
For
goddamn,
some,
I didn't sign up for this shit. Like I
that's what I said.
It's just a lot. It's too much. I could write, I'm not kidding, I can write 100 books because I've lived 100 lives just in the fucking 3D from the time that I was born, not including space, not including the astral. I'm talking about here. And when the fuck does the abuse stop?
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
we got the medical team, we got law enforcement, we got the politicians, the schools, everybody's gathering information. And I keep telling you guys, because they want the PDF, so that when the China credit score comes here, they're gonna see, hey, did you steal? Oh, we got you on camera. AI has you on camera. Guess what? You don't get no food stamps. Or guess what? You can't even buy a house because you didn't comply with this, and that. You didn't pay your credit card debt.
See, that happens here in the 3D, but then while all those people are in the secret space program on their ships in their luxury, then the angels are turning a blind eye and allowing. I'm just telling you, it happens all the way up. I'm like,
Why do you think I don't believe in
why am I
God?
doing this, and doing this, and if you're not healthy, you know what I mean. But I don't pray. You know what it is too. I'm real adamant. I will not ask for help. I only ask for unconditional help. And that's the only thing I've ever asked for. I said, if you are here to help, it better be unconditional. I better not even have to thank you. Like,
Yeah.
you just better be here unconditionally. And I have yet to have anybody step up to the plate for that one.
Yeah, I tell them
They
too.
want to suck your energy. Yes, give me praise. Yes, love me. Because you know
No.
you have to give praise and worship in
And you
order to
10%
receive. Yeah.
and your money.
I'm like, if you have to feed off of my energy for me to ask help,
That's horrible,
well,
man.
I won't say what I say.
I know. But
There's not enough leaps.
a lot of people say, well, it's the people in the church. You have to still believe in God. And I'm like, yeah, if there was a God, baby girl, that shit that's happened to me in all my life and the abuse with the children and
Okay,
that's happening right now
so
would not happen.
what about this philosophy? Then there's God, with this is spectrum, right? All good, because you know this side likes to say while they're raping you, you know, like in the crosses on the wall, on the ceiling, you know, like, where's your God now? You know, that sort of thing. But this entity can't interfere because it's all good, and this one can't, you know, so it's all bad. And so there's people down here that are like, okay, well, I need to go to this one, and so let me give all my praise and give myself over to them, when what we're supposed to be learning is the new world, which, because we can't go over there, we're not all good, and we're not going to ignore this, you know, we got to be able to balance the two and make it work in a functional way.
I
Yeah.
agree. Totally agree. There's
But
just so
those
much.
people that are in the church and doing all that stuff, like you said, I mean, they feel the praise, and don't get me wrong, it feels good. I mean, it
That's
feels good
because
to
they're
feel
putting
good.
all their aura in their worship. The body is the
Yeah,
aura. 80% of our body is our aura. So when you worship, you're
yeah.
giving away your freaking energy.
It feels good to meditate too. So, you know, I mean, there's all sorts of ways, but I just can't praise. There's something in me that won't allow me. I also can't say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Never, even in kindergarten. I
Yeah.
just, there's something in me. There's something in us, I should say,
Yeah.
because it's not
And
the
the other
others.
day, my son and I were watching Brad Martin. He's a bodybuilder because we're both into bodybuilding and stuff.
Yeah.
He had two soldiers that were like, you know, I was in 1991, I was in the Gulf War, and these guys were in a little later. But one of the guys was saying that they had to take, when they were in Afghanistan, they had to take a 5-gallon thing of ice cream to one of the sicarios of the US that was over there. So this guy was contracted by the United States government to kill people for the United States, right? Like a sicario. I don't know how to say it in English. And he wanted a 5-gallon thing of ice cream. And I turned around and I told my son, what if that's code word for he wanted 10 women or 10 children?
It's code word for something, because food is always code word for something, and their pizzas and their ice creams. And
Ice
I
cream.
remember, like, what was her name? That I haven't heard from her in a long time. Nancy Pelosi, when she was, all the people in her neighborhood was homeless, that she was, you know, the mayor for, or whatever the hell she was for them. And then she's sitting there in her kitchen with the most expensive refrigerator and the most expensive ice cream. Ice cream. She just said, I love ice cream. I
Yeah,
just
you
love
know
it.
what
And I'm
that
like,
is?
what message is she giving? I mean, everybody cut crap on her for, because of the homeless and the ice cream, but I'm like, that was a message. Like,
That's
she was asking, like, send me this. I need, you know.
blood. Blood from the
Yeah.
blood from the children, because what they do is these people that are involved with this stuff, even their own kids, they'll bleed them out here and there so that they can, you know, nourish themselves so that they can keep young. And I don't know what story they feed their children to do that. You know what I'm saying? And it's just so sad. So I'm thinking ice cream has to be code word for, like, remember those little balls that were
Oh, wait a minute.
Jupiter?
Yeah. Okay. Say it, because I have an idea too.
Yeah. Tell me.
What little balls?
The little
I don't know.
balls from Jupiter that and that the girl Jupiter, she broke accidentally, and he goes, oh, that's 5 lives. That's like the blood.
I have to watch that movie. Yeah, I haven't watched it. I'm sorry. I know
I'm
you
like,
love it.
I don't want to give my blood away, my
Yeah.
DNA.
So with the ice cream thing too, I noticed like in the grocery stores, if you were to say look at Magnum, it has the double, it has the heart that's within a heart that's a portal into the heart. I'm assuming that's what it is. It's also on Mr. Goods or something like that, which is a branch of them. And it's on top of an ice cream truck that would sell to kids with the double heart. So think about it. The ice cream companies would go in their ice cream trucks into the neighborhoods and scout all the kids. And then they would put the missing kid that was for sale on a on a milk carton, and then advertise them that way, as being missing and stuff like that. But I think that's where ice cream companies got their big start, or especially Magnum.
Yeah, and then Magnum also M is M, like the number 13, M for reincarnation, M like McDonald's, the Wizard of Oz, yellow, reincarnation, yellow.
Ultra,
Huh?
Michael, yeah, MK Ultra, Michael, all the M's, yeah.
I'm thinking that they put them on the milk cartons, and I remember I would eat my cereal and I'd be telling my sister, "Oh my gosh, look, do you know this guy? Do you know what happened? Like, 5 feet, 2 feet, whatever." The description, the weight, and all that. I'm thinking they did that on purpose to show the others that were involved. Hey, I got this guy. Who are you gonna get now? Like, you know what I'm saying? And then there's something about the ice cream trucks with something about ice cream with sugar. So sugar is poison. You give that to your children. What happens to the kids? So, they get happy high like a dolphin.
And they play music to call all the kids out, and they're
So
going
I
through the
think
neighborhoods
they're taking their energy. They're taking their
scouting.
they're
Yeah.
doing something. They're doing something. And then they have a drone on top.
Oh, I'd taken the aura probably. Yeah, I mean, who knows?
There's just a lot.
It's like that Monsters, isn't it? Monsters Inc., where the children laugh and the thing goes through the roof.
Oh yeah, they think
I'm telling my guides that. I'm like, my gosh, I'm like, if you gave me a nice lesson, you'd get so much more out of me. Like I really don't need to be beat like a monkey with this, that thing like where they get people like that have to work in zoos and stuff with monkeys or like apes and stuff. They teach them like, okay, now this is what you need to do. You need to get them to drink water, but all you have is a stick and you can't use any words, and so they got to get the other person to drink the water by beating them. And they said, now you know what the monkey feels like. You know what I mean?
that's so sad. It reminds me
No,
of that
but they don't beat the monkey. They do it on each other. They teach the humans like, how do you get another human to do it without words, and that's what the monkey goes through or something like that.
You have to accept Jesus as personal savior because you're going to hell. And I'm like, you're not supposed to give your heart away. Even when you get married, you're not supposed to give your heart away. That's yours, baby. Like I keep telling you, the Johnny Depp movie, Dark Shadows, at the end, the mean witch, she pulls out her crystal heart and she's like, "You can have my heart." And then Johnny Depp's like, "No." And then she crushes her own heart and then dies. It's like, no.
Lose true love even in death, right? And so maybe that's something to that. I don't know, because the type of love you're talking about is like an obsession.
Contracts, yeah, and contracts with people and them
that love, or they feel like they're gonna die without it, but you should love
That's what
equally.
Hollywood does. That's what Hollywood does. Hollywood wants you guys
and Disney with that programming with the princess and prince thing, and your twin flame and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but if you don't, if
my niece is in a collective.
Oh.
That's what she's calling her relationship.
Instead of the other word that they used to use with the P, as in Papa.
Orgy?
Oh. No, it was polyamorous.
Polygamy.
Or polyamorous or polygamy. There's two words. They're different.
Polygamy has one man. I think there's a couple involved in this one.
And now it's like all these words. Remember, that's what they want. They want confusion. They want to separate the family. But Hollywood is a major thing. Every movie that's out there, first they fall in love, then they have a fight, then one runs after the other at the end of the airport or the bus.
Yeah.
I can't live without you. Bullshit. you can live without love of someone else.
Okay.
You.
So get this with the reset, okay? So if you look back in history, where they were experimenting and making us, you know, the Neanderthal, then there's resets or whatever, and we just go down, 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 and now we're in the plastic age, because there's no way anybody can rebuild those temples where every part moves, or every part is, you know, the thousands of parts to it. And then, okay, so I'm losing my train of thought, you guys. I'm so sorry. I don't think
It's okay.
I forget what you were saying.
2, 3.
So yeah, it was with the reset and with love. So let's say there was all the prototypes of the humans, right? And then we've gone backwards to the plastic age now. And but when humans came about, because before there was giants, it looked like there were cyclopses, it looks like there was dragons, it looks like there was you know, dinosaurs, whatever. But and then uh big things like that and stuff. So when we came into the picture, it's not like we evolved through the caveman and then went into the tribe and then went into, maybe there was eras of that and stuff like that, but we've been manipulated all along. And each reset is a couple hundred years or something like that. So it's not been thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So it's not like we've developed this sense of love for each other. We were created, and then they wanted us to love each other. So I don't think we did in the beginning, because if you look at all the old paintings of the Renaissances, and way back then, it was like all these angels and all these cherubs and stuff, and they're pushing the humans to come together. And then there was the seductress, and then there was the masculine, you know, and there's like this mad love. They're trying to promote love. They're trying to get us to come together and do the love thing. And then there was a reset, you know, because, and then they come through, and then we still have those pictures around and stuff like that, where you know, all those biblical pictures where they're trying to push love and everything. And then they did it in the movies, you know, so they've been programming us to be in these relationships for life. But what if it's supposed to be a 5-year contract? What if it's supposed to be a 10, you know, and what if you get to renew it? And what if it's not meant to be for life? Because it always feels like forever when you're first in it, but then 5 years later, you might feel like, well, you know.
Yeah, they just want us to have our children with that partner that they MK'd Ultra or use the drones to say, this is the guy you need to marry because he has the best genes. And who does that help? Them. Because they can manipulate more, and we are pretty much like,
The secret space program does, not the government, I don't think. The secret space program, so it's on a higher level.
Yeah.
It's on a higher level, because I've been twin flamed a few times.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and it involves the CIA. That's why they always send someone, like they send people that work for Raytheon to me that were in the military. You know, they hacked my phone. I had to get another phone. I had to move from over there because of all the choppers that were over there, and just so much. I mean, shootings when I was supposed to go to Kingman in California, I was alone in the street, and then they shot 3 shots, and I had just crossed the street. It's targeting after targeting. I'm like, sometimes I just won't be on my phone, or won't be on, just go walk with Lola, because it's too much targeting. Like right now I was walking Lola on a break, and there's LED lights outside, and you know how they have the street sign, they have the street lights, and you can tell every 2 seconds there's a red light going like this. So it's like, oh, I know they spy that way too.
You've been looking at the lights because you were talking about the fractals earlier, and you mentioned it in the text with, you know, like the prism and everything like that. And I mean, our aura, I think, is light, just on a spectrum we don't see. So
yeah, because I am
that
almost,
they're using light to influence it.
yeah, so I'm almost blind, okay? I can only see here if I take off my glasses. I can't see far, and it's gotten worse. So what I do is at night and during the morning before I start my day, I just stare at the lights that are the light. I have red light therapy for myself here, so I'll stare at the light, and then I'm able to read with just the red lights, okay? Because I don't like the bright lights. So then after I say, okay, I'm ready to go to sleep. And then that's when the targeting starts, and then I have to fight it all night, all day. And then in the morning, when the light comes through my shutters, I see the lights. They're talking. They're like, they have waves. And then something else will come, and I have what they call floaties. I believe that that's also spyware, so that they can see what I'm seeing. Every time I ask an ophthalmologist, what is that? Oh, they're just floaties. You're just getting old. And I'm like, sir, I've had them since I was little. I'm trying to figure out what those are. So, but along with the floaties, I can stare at something and go third eye. When you cross your eyes like that and you just go three. And I can see how the lights are. It's like a dance. Same thing
I
with the
knew you
water.
were looking in a certain way when you're looking at the lights. I was going to ask you, were you looking beyond the TV, or were you looking through your
Yeah.
peripheral, but straight ahead? Like, that's like you're bringing your peripherals in,
Yeah.
and focusing here, but looking beyond there.
Yeah, it's the third eye, and that's my friend just taught me how to play chess on Sunday, and I did the third eye thing, and then you can see like a whole freaking thing, like it's just expanded. Same thing when I do my word search, I do the third eye, and then you can see.
Sudoku's fun too.
Yeah, Sudoku.
That's what I did in the mental institute.
Oh, I'm proud of you with all that.
Over and over while people paced the hallways and all their psychosis. And I had my room open, and Anna wanted me to suck on her tits, and somebody else wanted to just like, after she got done playing in the toilet, it's like, fuck, where am I and why am I here? Because of my job. Welcome to this day and age, because everybody's having to go through it. The superficial people just kind of play along. Hey, let me put it this way. It's interesting for me because I struggle. I mean, I say the stigmata thing a lot, but it really is such a huge different perspective than average, because when I look at the pack, you got your alpha and it's competing for its popularity and it needs all the attention of all the betas, and then you got your omegas hating the alpha and hating the betas, and then you got your deltas that are plugging into the office spaces or whatever it is, and you see they all operate within each other and we don't. So they have to play the game in order to be part of their hierarchy in their system. I don't
either. I'm fine by myself. Here, let me play.
When you don't, and you say true to, yep, the delay.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say it was the delay there.
Okay, so let me just play 2 clips from Sabrina, and then I'll just like read the little signs, and then I'll put the link on this video and see what we get, okay? That way people can see who she is. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but here.
I'm not kidding. Everyone always asks me the same question. Your medical, your sheriff, your police, your lawfare, your main military, paramilitary, black projects, military, geospatial, and Silicon Valley with net-centric warfare, mosaic warfare, with cognitive technology threat warning system using a headset and an EEG to watch you through your veins and arteries anytime, anywhere in the world.
What do you think they're doing in Texas right now? Everywhere.
Yes.
And then
That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot right there. I mean,
let me do 3 more.
fluently unless they were in that field.
Yeah, let me do 3 more. Ready?
Yeah. We couldn't see it though.
Cancer. Leave cancer taken away in 15 minutes, according to the Daily Mail, not my story to tell. And then the nano diseases like morgellons, which have been in history since the 1600s. Then you have people arguing over autism rates. Meanwhile, we're all being told some adult doesn't. And you never stopped and backed the fuck up and went, where did all this come from?
And then 1 more, and then let's see.
Very nice.
And so for me, I'm like, what the hell is Project Maven? Project Maven is mosaic warfare, net-centric warfare for net-centric node access, meaning you can access anything on the network. And that means we can order a drone update, or we can order a smart grid update. We can log into your body with Omnet software, 2.15.6, and the MQ9 Reaper is tethered to ground, so she's doing a scan and she can come hunt you down wherever you are. That's a big bird, by the way. This is information surveillance and reconnaissance. This isn't hee-haw. We have cognitive technology threat warning system. That's what they're using with that EEG, and to access your Project Maven AI supported net-centric mosaic warfare, which could be a personal area network utilizing MAC ID, a MAC ID only available to a bioelectromagnetic algorithm on the physical computer networking layer, radio access networks, fronthaul, backhaul, 3GPP, LTE, IEEE with biophotonics with databases, and specialized software for things like electronic integrated disease surveillance system that works with bioconductor. I told you guys they can hack us. And we have a radio man net.
So she keeps going on and on and on.
Yeah, that's a lot to
Okay,
digest.
the medical, the sheriff is in on it, the police, the lawfare, you name it. So here we are thinking, oh, I have menopause or perimenopause. No, somebody's fucking accessing my digital twin and I do
I-
not consent. They fucking better stop.
I have dementia. I have Alzheimer's. It's an
Right.
old person's disease. No, it's not.
Not. They're causing it, guys.
It's overload.
Yeah. It's a lot to
Shit,
take in
It's
for the
everything
average.
shutting down after all this attack. Yeah, there's no such thing as old person's disease.
So did you want to say something before we end? Because we have a lot more to talk about. This is just gonna be a wrap,
I
you know, and then we're gonna have
won't spend a day in the sun either.
huh?
I've been like in the sun for 4 or 5 days in a row having
Oh my
heat
God.
strokes every day.
Drinking
Not
plenty
heat
of water.
strokes. I don't get the chills or anything, but I get sharp pains and all this other stuff, and then I feel like I'm gonna faint, and then I get the brain fog at the end.
I do that too. So I have to always be like drinking, water with electrolytes or lemon with water. I had that happen to me all the time when I was a kid. So my dad would always give me
Yeah.
water, he would put sugar and then lemon.
I really do. I drink so much water because of some of the meds, but then I drink a lot of that. I make a Gatorade myself. I do the lemon juice and honey, all raw, and then the salt.
Oh, yummy.
And
I
water.
forgot to say something. Crap. Okay. I'll end it with this, other than if you have something else to add. With Rita Hayworth, okay, she had her dark hair always parted in the middle because, when you're from Spain, I remember being a kid, parting my hair in the middle, pigtails, whatever, always parted in the middle. And so when she was married to the first husband, because she was married three times, I believe, and he then dyed her hair red, made her lose weight. And that's why she had cute little skinny waist. And then
Handler.
the second one, huh?
It's a handler.
Yeah, they're all handlers. Her father, all the three that she married. The next one is something, it was inspecting her teeth with a letter opener because they changed her teeth. They were saying they changed her body, her hair. And then the third guy, oh my gosh, he cut her hair short. He made sure that her hair was cut short and white platinum. And she was a star killing somebody on scene. She was a killer, right? Like a MK Ultra, like atomic, like when Charlize Theron comes out and she's like, she's an assassin, all right? So I cried on that part because that was like it was just so close to what happened to me. But anyway, her hair, they dyed it, and then later on they cut it, and then later on they said she has Alzheimer's. So I'm thinking she was targeted big time. She even got married to she was a princess at one time and had a kid with him, but then he was a womanizer. All these men just using her. And what I'm trying to say is what happens when you go from Mexico or another country to the US. You start dyeing your hair blonde. You want to look like Marilyn Monroe. You want to look like fucking, all these how do you say, Madonna. Me, I was influenced by Madonna. I always had my gloves, or Michael
Me too.
Jackson.
Inspired. I didn't dress like her, but I'm just saying.
I look at, to this day I still wear
I was
one.
inspired by Billy Idol with my look, I think, because I had the earring and the blonde
Oh, I
hair that
love
was
Billy
spiked.
Idol. Woohoo!
Yeah, I had blonde hair that was spiked.
Yeah.
Platinum.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, I
I-
love.
I got remembered as a blonde.
Nice. I was
Yeah.
born with blonde hair, and then it turned fiery red, and then later on I started dyeing it. And now it's like, I don't know, like I didn't dye my hair for 6 months, and then it fell off. It started falling with them. I think it's the morphine, but the doctors say, oh no, it's not the morphine. And I'm thinking, what if it had something to do with the morphine and the drones and the stress? Why did they send that evil nurse to me? why did she cause that infection? Why did I go septic with the other nurse? Why did I have 2 blood transfusions? Why did I have a total of 3 surgeries? And the freaking doctor sends me home necrotic. And the other day I said, hey, my nurse told me I have nerve damage because I can't feel in a certain area in my glutes. Oh, are you trying to say that I did that? And I'm like, he took my whole butt off and then lifted, just whatever little skin that I had up. And he goes, oh, I left you like a 12-year-old little boy. And I'm like, oh, am I supposed to grow my butt back? And so now I'm growing my butt back. And I'm like, what the hell did this doctor do? He says he didn't take the rest out, that there's still, it's just, I don't want to do anything
It
to
really bothers me, first of all, that he said that he gave you the butt of a 12-year-old little boy. But okay, then I mean,
It bothered me a lot, and I was in the hospital, and I kept telling him because I was there for 4 nights, and I said the second time, and I said, hey, I don't want to go home yet. I feel something's wrong. And he's like, no, this is not a hotel. You need to go home. And I'm like, okay. So I had to call my son like at 10 o'clock at night to go get me. 3 or 4 days later, I was in his doctor's office, and then that's when he made the hole in my back without telling me. I screamed, and for a whole week, my daughter had to come and do my cleaning. I had a big old hole from another. It was just hell.
sometimes too, like, okay, it's doctors like that make baseball bats and barbed wire make sense all of a sudden. I just want to
Yeah. So
hit
wing
a
bada
home,
bada.
just
So
want to
wing.
hit a home. And then yeah, because my mother went through something similar when she almost died in a snowmobile accident, and it flipped up. It went up down a bank and then up the other bank, and then flipped on top of her and crushed her skull and her pelvis and ribs and everything like that. But she had an asshole of a doctor too, and I just knew I could never go to Alaska because I was going to meet him in a parking lot with a baseball bat, and I said, I'm a mommy's boy, and an effort. That's not the way you speak to somebody or something like that. But long story short, like long term too, like the other doctors wanted to do another procedure on her. He insisted on doing another one, and it turns out that was probably the better procedure for her to take at that time, and the other ones would have. So everything happens in mysterious ways that way. So maybe he did do something right, even though he's got this persona, that likes 12-year-old boys' butts or something, and thinks that you should be proud to have one, because he wants one too. And you're right. I mean, it is an attack, but then what levels does it happen? Part of it's happening here on 3D. Part of it's happening here in the secret space. I feel like they have our best interest at her, but it depends on which side is pushing the button at the time, because
Yeah,
there's
they
two
make it.
sides. And then there's the angels, which it's like, is it their fault for just ignoring this and allowing this to happen, for my lesson? I've already said no to them 500,000 times.
Yeah.
Colorfully.
I'm not taking sides. I'm just doing myself. Like, if people
Yeah,
want to talk to me,
we're in the middle. Yeah,
well,
finding that
I
way.
have nothing to say. Yeah, I have nothing to say to them. I don't want to be their friends anymore. Or again, I'm just trying to help myself first because I have to, and humanity as much as I can, fur babies, you name it, kids.
They've beaten you into submission. This is
They
like,
wanted to beat me into submission.
feels like that's what it feels like. I will not be. I am not. You don't want to know. Yeah.
Okay, Chad, I guess we're gonna end it for now. But next week, no, in June, we're gonna be on with Tom Althouse, you and myself.
Okay.
And if you want to be on with me and Brian Sang, it's on the 13th of June.
Oh,
More secret space stuff.
I really enjoyed that interview.
Yeah, I can't wait to go speak again, if they'll have me, because I speak my mind. And I can't wait till our trip. We won't talk about it right now, but we'll talk about it offline about our trip with Tom, yourself, and myself. We'll see how that goes. how that's going. Okay, so we are Codebreaker Real Talk. We are Unchained Hearts and Unchaining Hearts. Signing off. I love you, Chad.
Love you too.
Bye, guys. Love you guys. Thank you. Bye. Toodles.